What is up, everybody? How are we all doing? Welcome to my channel. To those of you who are new, I'm Mariah, I'm a wrestler, I'm from London but I live in Tokyo, and for returning subscribers, welcome on back. So I'm currently filming this from my floor in my apartment bedroom. I'm just about to go to a press conference, hence the suitcase in the background. Not done my hair because I'm actually going to do that. No! I smell like coffee! Ah! No, not this, not like this. I just wiped all over the floor and I've got white shorts on. No! Excuse the half-done hair. I have a press conference that I'm leaving for in about literally 15 minutes, so this is going to be a real quick Q&A that I wanted to do for you. I'm doing my hair when I get to the presser, but I figured, you know what? She looks okay. Let's get on with it. Let's do this Q&A. So on my Instagram, which is Mariah May X, I asked you guys to send me some questions about living in Japan. I live by myself, of course. I've lived here now for nearly 8 months, which is kind of crazy. I can't believe I'm doing it. I'm living on my own. Who is she? I want to know her. I want you guys to ask me some questions. Of course, I'm a wrestler, so some of them might be a little bit about that. Obviously, I'm going to try and mainly answer the ones, yes, about wrestling, but also about living in Japan and relocating, because I'm sure a lot of people can relate. I'm sure a lot of people relocate to maybe study or travel or just start a new Emily in Paris journey, I guess. Like, I know a lot of people move to Paris. I'm on TikTok. I see you. I know what you're doing. So without further ado, let's jump in. I've got so many questions. I've got about 15 minutes. Let's crack on. So the first question is, how long do I intend to stay for and where to next? So I don't really want to say anything too much about my plans for the future, but what I will say is there's a lot I want to do in Stardom, so I do plan on staying definitely longer than just next month. If that's all I can really say. There's a lot I want to do in Stardom, and of course before I came to Japan I was traveling the world. If you haven't, you can go check out some of my vlogs. I went to America, I've wrestled around Europe, and of course the UK, so I would like to continue to kind of travel the world a little bit, but I love Japan so much. I love living in Japan, I love Stardom. So I kind of feel like this is my home. So I can't really answer that one 100%, but that is what I can give you. My favourite cultural elements, what I will miss upon leaving someday. I think for me there's a lot of things I love, but one thing is just the kindness in Japan. Like, everyone, even if they can't speak English, tries to help you so much. If they see you, you know, they can see that maybe you're a little bit stuck or lost or something. So that's really nice, and it's very safe here. Of course, you know, nowhere is completely safe, but it's extremely safe here. Like, as a woman on my own, I've never felt so safe and comfortable, and it's actually so nice to be able to like walk the streets at night and just feel like, wow, like not stressed. And it took a while for me to feel like that, I'm not gonna lie. And obviously I'm still very like aware and stuff like that, but that's something I really like, is like how safe it is and just how kind everyone is. Of course, have your wits about you always, but yeah, I've been here for 7 months and I've had a few like little like catcalling and stuff, but really compared to like the UK, it's like heaven. The biggest cultural shock / how easy or difficult was it to adapt? To be fair, I say I'm surprised I adapted well, but I guess why wouldn't I? I'm just surprised because, yeah, I've lived in the UK all my life. I do travel on my own a lot with wrestling, but I didn't really plan to move here. It just kind of happened. So I was only supposed to stay for a little while, and I didn't leave. So I think maybe because I didn't plan on it and be it up in my head, that kind of helped with regards to adapting. I think the only thing that's like a little bit difficult perhaps when you first come here is just like you don't speak the language and you can't read it. So just like if you get lost, you can get a little bit overwhelmed sometimes, just with trying to figure things out. But once you really like learn how to travel everywhere, and Google Translate is your best friend, it's got like a picture thing where you can hold the camera up and it will like translate whatever it can see in front of it. It's immensely helpful. So yeah, I think just the biggest thing is maybe just like the whole thing is different. The food is different, travel is different, language is different. Just on a day where maybe you're lost or a little bit overwhelmed, that can be a bit of a like, you know, but really I did adapt quite well. I quite like Japan. I didn't overthink it in my head before I came, which for me is probably helpful. But for other people, perhaps they would want to like, you know, research and whatever more. Whereas for me, I was just like, my dream was to wrestle for Stardom, and I was only thinking about Stardom, which maybe helped. So, because I know I'm a little warrior, so I didn't worry. How many people speak English, and what is the communication? Well, I can't even speak English, so that's how it's going. How many people speak English and what is the communication aspect like? So a lot of people can speak English or a little bit of English, but regardless, like the communication is really easy when both of you try, and everyone always tries. I've tried my best to learn Japanese phrases. I really want to learn Japanese anyway. And of course I'm, you know, with Mina and Waka who helped me a lot too. So yeah, everyone is really, you know, kind and tries very hard to communicate with you, and you'll be surprised how much you can communicate with like body language and gestures. And obviously I've been here for a long time, so I can kind of understand stuff now, like quite a lot. So but then I tried. I think that's the really important thing, is if you are here and you do have a desire, it depends what you're here for. If you're here for like a holiday, it doesn't matter. If you're maybe wanting to like be here to wrestle or to study or to work, like if you put a real effort in, you don't necessarily have to like learn the language, but if you put a real effort in to try and communicate with someone, then you'll be surprised how you'll actually get on really well with doing that, because I've been here for 7 months and, you know, really learned to adapt to that, because I try, and of course, you know, people try too with me, which I'm really grateful for. What's the food like, and what was it like for you to adjust to their style of food? The food is delicious, like maybe the best food I've ever had in my life, I'm not gonna lie, so that was very easy to adapt to. The only thing I miss is like British or American dessert. Like Japanese dessert is lovely, but like my comfort food is chocolate. Like I love, you know, like growing up, like just the chocolate I used to eat. So that's the only thing that I like really miss food wise. It's just like, that's my home comfort. Like it's just Cadbury's chocolate. They do Cadbury's here, but it tastes different. Or maybe my taste buds have changed. My family and Danny do send me some chocolate, which is really sweet. But that is my little comfort food. That's the only thing I miss. But the food here is like, so good. So good. And there's so many places to eat out as well, like really convenient, and it's super cheap. Like super cheap. Even, you know, nice restaurants are cheap. Which where I'm from, like a Nando's costs like 40 quid. So it's so affordable here, and it's so delicious. And there's lots of different stuff too. So if you don't like ramen, for example, there's like plenty of other options for you. So that's what I love. I want to share everything with you in the future. Let's go. The best part about living in Japan, the wrestling, of course. How did Stardom reach out to you, or you reach out to Stardom? I'm so happy for you, and I can't wait to see you climb higher. Thank you so much. Mina actually found me, and Mina was like trying to build Club Venus, which was going to be made of all foreigners. So Mina actually found me, and I've wanted to go to Stardom for a really, really long time. Like when I started wrestling, I remember somebody showed me Stardom, because I had not seen it before. Obviously, growing up, you know, you watch what's on the TV, which was WWE, and maybe like a little bit of TNA, because Jeff Hardy was on it. And then when I started wrestling, of course, I started watching more independent wrestling, and I'd seen little bits of Japanese wrestling, and then someone put me onto Stardom, and I just became like fixated with this idea of going there, because for me, especially at that time too, because this is like before the women's revolution, remember, like women weren't wrestling like that, and like to be able to see women doing like the wrestling that I love, I was like, I need to go there. So I wanted to go for a really long time, and then Mina found me, and it was like perfect timing, because I really was very desperate to come here. This is like my big goal, so it's still like, I've been here for 7 months and I'm still like, am I really here? Am I even on Earth? How does the Japan experience feel? It's amazing. Like, I love it. I feel like sometimes I like just to be quite, I know I seem quite extroverted, but sometimes in the day I like to be quite introverted, especially when I'm on my own. And I love that everyone here is very peaceful, and just, you know, it's not weird to go for dinner on your own, because obviously I live alone. I've lived alone for ages. So it's not weird to go for dinner on your own, go shopping on your own, like all these things. It's kind of like really made for living alone here, which I like. So yeah, and everyone's very polite with the trains, and like I said, like I don't really feel in danger very much, which is nice. So yeah, that's been really nice. Like I really like the experience, but again, I think it depends on personality and what you do and don't like. How good are the pancakes? Yeah, so there's a place called Eggs and Things. It's like a Hawaiian restaurant, and they do pancakes, and they're like chocolate chip pancakes with chocolate sauce and vanilla ice cream. And it is my, like, after a show, like long weekend or tour or whatever, I always get it. So what have I learned about Japan since moving there? A lot. I've actually learned a lot about the history of Japan and cultural things, because we go on tour a lot, so we go to lots of different parts of Japan, which is very cool. I think when I first came here, I kind of underestimated how great of an experience that really was, just because it was like, I don't know, I was just focusing on like wrestling and one thing, and now that I'm more comfortable and more settled, we recently went to Hokkaido, went to the north of Japan, and I was like, this is so cool that like I get to travel all over Japan, not just Tokyo. Of course I love Tokyo, but to be able to like travel and stuff is a really cool experience. Okay, I'm rushing through these. I've got like another 5 minutes. How hard is it to learn the language, or did you already know Japanese? No, I did not know Japanese. I still don't know Japanese. I obviously know I know enough for me to like get by at my work and like day to day. It's a difficult language. It's a very difficult language. It's easy if you try to learn enough to kind of get by. Again, if you're here on holiday, don't worry about it. But if you want to stay here for a little while, I think, you know, if you like really listen and kind of focus, you'll definitely pick things up. Do you need a car to live in Japan? I don't think so. I don't have a car. I actually sold my car at home in the UK. So it was just sitting there costing me money. But no, I don't have a car. I rarely go anywhere in a car. A little bit when I first came here, but you can literally get trains absolutely everywhere. Once you figure it out as well, they're super easy. I still get lost sometimes from time to time when I go to like faraway venues, but for the most part I don't really get lost anymore, and it's really, really easy to get around, which I love. It's so cool to be able to just go all over Tokyo in more or less like 30 to 40 minutes. What surprised me about living in Japan? I think the thing, one, just yeah, how safe it is. I've said that a few times, but also like how easy I found it, because like I've obviously lived on my own since I was like 21, I think. I can't remember. I've like moved out of my parents since that age. So for maybe 2 or 3 years, living completely by myself in a foreign country. I guess just because I was so busy as well with wrestling, I just didn't have time to stress about it, and I didn't really plan it. So it was just like, well, we're going for it. But that's the thing that surprised me most, is like how like much it feels like home to me. How have you found the response from the Stardom fans from your debut to now? It's funny you should say that. I was actually trending on Twitter this morning because of discourse about me. I think when I first debuted, of course, like my fans were very happy, and there was a portion of Stardom fans that were excited and Japanese fans were excited, but there was like naturally a group that were maybe a little bit apprehensive about me because they didn't know anything about me and didn't know what I could do, and I hadn't really had the chance up until that point to show what I could do, so it's completely fair enough. And it's also completely fair enough to not like someone and not be a fan of someone. That's also more than okay. I was like trolled quite a bit when I first came, which was a little bit tough because like I was just on my own, like in this hotel room, and really overwhelmed, and I'm my own worst critic as well. So I do remember just literally sitting in my hotel room like really upset because I was just by myself. I didn't have anyone to comfort me. I think back then as well, like I was quite I'm still a little bit anxious person, but I was a very anxious person and very low and fragile, which goes to show how much I've grown since then. But yeah, at first it was a bit hard because it was like, I love wrestling so much, like why am I not allowed to be here? Like, you know, I love Stardom just as much as everyone else. But, you know, I learned to just ignore that and remember why I'm here and what I'm here to do, and I've worked extremely hard since I've got here to show what I can do and to learn more as well. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people now have jumped on board. They're like, I'm so sorry, you're actually good, or, you know, I like you, or I've come to like you and stuff, which is really nice to kind of like bring people on side. But yeah, and of course, yeah, there's still some people who are like, she doesn't belong here, she's blonde, which is completely a-okay if you don't like me. But yeah, I think a lot of people have kind of see my passion in my heart, which is nice because I care a lot about wrestling and I care a lot about Stardom. So it's nice that people are accepting of that. And the Japanese fans are wonderful. They've always been behind me, and as you know, I've gotten more and more confident and bigger with myself, they've really come on board with that and been very accepting of me and cheer for me, which is really nice. So always a good feeling. I can literally maybe do one more question. We'll do a few more. Quick fire though, we're doing quick fire. Do I miss British food? No, just chocolate is Google Translate a must have. You could be fine without it, but I do recommend it, especially if you're on holiday. Just, you know, makes life much easier. Can I send you the Pokemon Go raids from Japan? Yeah, they are amazing here. But I think of the Japanese fans, they're literally amazing. They're wonderful and they take the most phenomenal pictures too. They're so passionate. I do cook in my own house. Step on people after matches? No, that's weird. Stop this. This beautiful place in Japan, that's impossible to choose because there's so many different aspects to the different parts of Japan. Like Tokyo, I love city life, but then like there's places we've gone on tour, like Mount Fuji is so cool. So very different, but both very beautiful. And one more. I don't know. I've got pens and needles! Is the food any good? Yes, the food is amazing. Okay, I have pins and needles and I need to go. So thank you so much for watching. I'm so sorry. This was such a rush Q&A, but I kind of love this quick fire thing. If you want to see more stuff like this, comment down below with any video suggestions. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And check out my vlogs living in Japan. I love you. Let's go to this press conference. I've got pins and needles. I need to go. Ah!